Ever since I came to Children's, it was very, very clear to me since 1964 that if I couldn't work with the nurses, I was out. And that partnership is invaluable. There are probably here now 1,200, 1,300 nurses, I'm not sure the number, and there are maybe 30 child life specialists. So what we do, we have to also begin to teach others what we do, at least in part, so that the care doesn't stop when we go home or when we're not perhaps here on weekends. And my boss, Susan Shaw, frequently will say that nurses and child life specialists can finish each other's sentences. And the partnership has to be seamless, and it's an expectation that I have not only for myself in working with all of the nurses and the senior nursing department, but also an expectation I have of the staff. It was huge in the beginning. It was huge because people didn't know who we were or what we did. And I think that because patients, because families, parents were here for many, many, it was just limited minutes, limited hours, and they could not stay overnight. We then, that's in the beginning where I learned the phrase bridge the gap between hope and hospital, because families were not here. I knew I had to take some risks. I knew that there would be partners in crime. I knew eventually Barry Brazelton would be coming. And I knew that I really believed that we needed to change the environment. And I knew at some point that the parents would really begin to push for it. And we wanted customer-friendly environment. But I also knew that there needed to be a comfort level for the doctors and nurses. And so I tried to incorporate them in some of the things that I did. It was hard. It was a hard work in the 60s. It was brutal. But I believed in what I believed in, and I knew that it would work. I knew that it would connect. Dee Dee Wheeler was a head nurse here. She's the wife of Jerome Wheeler, who has worked for years and years for Eileen Sporing and Susan Shaw in financial piece of patient services. And she was my head nurse, and we had great, great times. And she reminded me of one time when, this was on Division 39, a small unit, but I guess I was home and it was a hurricane. She said she described it as a hurricane, and I called her and I said, Dee Dee, listen, you've got to do something. First of all, you've got to tape up all the windows. And two, you've got to go into the playroom and you've got to get everybody a teddy bear. And three, you've got to get everybody a flashlight, because I knew the lights were going out. I knew that they had secondary lights, but I wanted kids, because then, you see, it was a distracting kind of thing. Instead of being fearful of the sound of the rain, of the cracking of the thunder, they could do their flashlights. And I remember her saying to me, Myra, I just don't know unless we take them out of the treatment room that we have 15 flashlights to give around. And I said, I think you could find them. But it was that, I just adore them. I think what the hospital offered to me was an opportunity to be a change agent. Otherwise, I don't think I would have stayed as long. And I have cherished the collaboration with all of my colleagues. I've cherished the opportunities to learn from people, particularly the patients and families. I arrived as a student and I leave as a student, and I am absolutely overwhelmed with the attention that is being paid to me as I make my departure from Children's. And I feel, I don't know how to say thank you. I only hope that everybody who has worked at Children's or is working there now has an opportunity to feel good about their contributions no matter what department they work in when they decide to leave. And I will miss it dearly.